it looks like Wilder is going to take the rematch. Do you anticipate
Wilder and representatives formally notified us last night that they have accepted the rematch and are going forward.
Awesome. I don't know if you can reveal this, but does it look like it's going to happen in the summer, or do you anticipate it happening in the fall?
It's going to happen in the summer before the Olympics.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now,
Middle of July.
Are you concerned, or probably you're not even thinking about this, possibly, but are you concerned that Wilder will be ready in time for that? Do you think after the injuries he sustained that he'll be 100% ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I know for sure? No, but he knows, and that's why, after being examined by physicians, he opted for the rematch, which will occur middle of July.
Okay.
Got some massive news coming up in the next few days, or
Nice.
next week or so, to announce something. So keep tuned for that. But yeah, I think we've got the rematch for Wilder on as well at some point, and then we've got the two AJ fights. Well, one, and then obviously when I batter him, he'll want a rematch.
Who are you going to fight first, Wilder or Joshua?
Well, Wilder's got a rematch clause, so
I saw he said about taking a payout yesterday.
Yeah, he said some newspaper reported that he wanted 10 million to step outside.
I can imagine him doing that though, because he ain't going to want to fight you again, mate. That was like the most embarrassing moment of his life.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, I'm not paying him no money to step aside. I'd rather take his scalp again. I'll beat him in the ring, and that's how I'll get him out of the way. I wouldn't pay him 2 million to step aside. I'd rather give him another battering again.
Yeah, because in a way it looks like. Yeah, in a way, it's sort of like if you do that, he'll have that. He can hold that, can't he? Say, "Oh, he didn't want to fight me again. He paid me to get out."
Exactly. I'm going to take him out again for the third time, hopefully end of the year, and then we're going to go into 2021 for the biggest fight in boxing history between two undefeated British heavyweights, me and AJ, and we're going to battle it out for all the gold.
Now, let's talk about this whole step aside story, because this just seems to have been a rumor. Did anyone reach out to either you or MTK Global on behalf of Deontay Wilder, possibly stepping aside to make way for this Fury Joshua fight? Because there just seems a lot of talk being put out there, but no really concrete evidence that this was even, a reality. Can you speak to this, please?
Oh, directly the contrary. I mean, the Wilder people made it, when they saw these stories, made it known to us and to MTK that Wilder wasn't amenable to step aside, that he wanted to fight Fury again and gain revenge. So these stories about step aside were fantasies, and rather than being fueled by Wilder from the get-go reacted negatively to the idea of a step aside.
Hello there. I'm just after getting off the phone with Daniel Kinahan. He's just informed me that the biggest fight in British boxing history has just been agreed. Get up there, my boy! Big shout out, Dan. He got this done. Literally over the line. 2-fight deal. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua next year. One problem. I'm just got to smash Deontay Wilder's face right in the next fight. And then we go into the Joshua fight next year. So there we are. The Gypsy King versus AJ is on for next year, but there's a hurdle in the road called the Bronze Bomber, aka the Knockout King, and I will get onto him and knock him spark out, and then we got on to the big fight. So big thank you, Dan, for getting this deal over the line. All the best. God bless you all. See you soon. Peace out.
The way this works out, the way you understand it, it has to be a win against Wilder for then these terms to kick in, I assume?
Well, I don't think there's any terms been reached re the Joshua fight. I just think we've agreed, both fighters have agreed to fight in 2021, providing we come through our upcoming fights. So I've heard it all before, to be honest. Fights like this have been agreed before and then not materialised because one fighter's lost or whatever. I've been in this situation before and it didn't happen the last time I was in this situation. So I'm not even going to concentrate on that fight at all. I'm only concentrating on the Bronze Bomber. And that's the fight that I've got next, whenever that's going to be, which we don't have any data or venue set. So I definitely can't look a year in advance when I can't see the future of this year.
This man is here and he's coming fast, hard and fast. I'm coming for Wilder first, then I'm going to come for Joshua, I'm going to come for whoever else wants to smoke. You're all getting annihilated, every single one of you. Ain't no style. And anyone who does will get smashed to bits.
Final question, Frank. Eddie did also say with regards to Fury negotiations for an AJ fight that he'd have to deal with Bob Arum other than yourself. He's been told to deal with Bob. Can you just kind of effectively clear up how negotiations would work around a Fury AJ fight?
It's really simple, you know. Top Rank and Queensbury have the promotional rights for Tyson Fury, so we have to all agree to make it happen. And Tyson, I mean, Bob's made a statement saying the fight's not going to happen now till February. That is not going to happen. Tyson's not going to sit on his arse until February. That's just not going to happen. I'll tell you that now. You know, he's has a contractual commitment, and that fight's got to happen by December.
Keeping these two waiting all night because they've both been non-stop. I'm going to let you in a secret. They've both been non-stop on the telephone to Americans talking about a fight. I'm going to go straight to you, Tyson. Where are we with you and Wilder number 3?
I just felt like I was having a bit of an audition there to sing a song, Steve.
Well, you can give us a song. You're quite good at that.
So where are we? I'll let Frank do the talking about the business side of it because he knows more than me. I'm just a dumb boxer after all. But yeah, we're almost there. Hopefully we get the fight, big fight, and get it on. And it all depends on what's going on in the world and if we're allowed people back in the venue. But with the way things are at the moment, everything's changing all the time. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have that big Wilder rematch.
So Frank, he's passed the buck rather beautifully there, if you don't mind me saying so. Where are we? I've seen you on the phone tonight. I've not listened, but I've noticed you all feverishly on the phone to Americans. Where are we?
Where are we? Well, I think Tyson just answered the question, to be honest. At the moment, we don't know where we are. I mean, the idea is to try and get it on the 19th of December in the States or another territory. And that's what we're all working collectively to do, between all of us. And that's what we want. It's what Tyson wants. It's what Bob Arum, Top Rank want. We want it. Everybody involved, MTK, everybody who's worked on this, we all want to make sure it happens. And but our hands are tied because obviously every country, there's something different happening in every country, and it all depends at the end of the day on two things. Either we have a big live crowd in, get the audience back in, and if that doesn't happen, then we need a big guarantee as a site fee, and sometimes the both go together. So we've got to just see what happens.
So could we, I know America is on the road, but could we go on the road again? Could it be somewhere else? Could it be in a territory that we've not discussed?
Well, that's what I was saying. If somebody comes up with a site fee, and there are people at the moment who are talking about doing that, and we're talking to a number of people, and we will see what happens. But we want to get it on. Want to get it on for Tyson. He's been training hard now since February. I mean, he literally came back from the States, back in the gym, training hard, and he wants to fight. And that's what we want. What he wants is what we got to deliver.
You want to fight? Do you need to fight, Tyson? Do you need to have a 10-week camp and fight in December? Is that
me? I'm a gym junkie, and I need the work. I said to Frank, I said to Bob, I've said to the MTK guys, I said, look, I want to fight. I've been training non-stop. I'm ready to fight. Let's get to work. Whatever type of fight it is, where it is, let's get it on, make it happen. Who knows, whatever type of fight can be, let's get it on.
If Wilder couldn't meet and couldn't fulfil the requirements and what's been contracted, is there a window? I'll ask the pair. Is there a window for you to fight somebody else in December in one of these territories? Is that a possibility?
I'll ask you this, Steve. Do you know something I don't, Mosh?
No, I don't. Listen, mushy, as they say. No, I don't. I'm just throwing it out there.
Listen, I don't know. If Wilder can't take the fight, then who knows whatever's next. I know Povetkin's now mandatory. Don't know what's going on with that. Is there going to be a rematch? Whatever, I don't know. Maybe I fight Drew McIntyre for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. Who knows?
Yeah,
I hear he's been calling me out a little bit lately, so giving you that, Drew.
Frank, on a slightly more, actually not more serious, on straight tone, straight no. Is there a chance? Is there a window for an alternative opponent other than Wilder this side of Christmas?
I don't know. Tyson said he wants to fight this side of Christmas, and we've got to somehow make that happen. And obviously, he's contracted to fight Wilder, and that's what we get out of the way. But if for any reason there's a problem and he can get out and do something else, then obviously he'll want to do that. He wants to be sitting around. He's training hard, as he says all the time, and we'll have to see what happens. We're all up in the air with this at the moment. But I think hopefully within the next month or so, we're going to have an idea of actually what the position will be. Hopefully things will move the way we anticipate.
So he's over here for a period of time.
Yeah.
And then whenever your situation regarding your fight date is confirmed, you'll, assuming at some point, go and pick it back up with him.
Yeah, well, we're out here for a few weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, a couple of fortnights, isn't it, Shug?
2 fortnights, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just gonna knock it out real quick. It's alright. There we go.
Yeah. He's out here for 2 fortnights and a little bit of change. And then hopefully we'll have an official date by then. Some really big news coming soon, some positive news, which I can't break just yet. But it's very positive and we're all happy and in good spirits about it. Just need a little confirmation from our guys over at MTK Global, over at Queensbury and over at Top Rank. They're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's at the moment. And we'll have some big fight news coming soon. And then we're gonna, when that news is broke, I think we've got, I'm not gonna say how many weeks we've got because I'd give it away, but we've got plenty of time. So then we're gonna train over here for a bit and then go back to the US, the good old home of the Gypsy King, Las Vegas, and pick up fight camp.
So this date that's been touted about for you for quite some time now, the 19th of December, Las Vegas, is not concrete, and that's not necessarily the case.
Not yet. We're still crossing the T's and dotting the I's. We should have some more information next week, like announcement.
And the possibility doesn't...
Towards the end of September, I'd say.
Okay. And also a possibility it's not even in America.
Possibility, yeah.
Okay. Do you know when... Frank was talking about this recently, about if Wilder wasn't ready, that you're still going to fight in December regardless.
Yeah.
But as far as you're concerned, it is Wilder that you're fighting this year.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
I want to fight no matter who it is. I ain't sharpening this steel for nothing. We're working on tightening stuff and I want to knock some BB out cold this time. So whether it's Wilder, whoever it is, Wilder's the one who's contracted to fight me, so I think it will be Wilder. But if it's not, then we'll just take whoever. I don't really care whoever's there. Get a fight in, move on to the next one.
For what reason, to your understanding, might it not be Wilder, or could it not be Wilder?
Well, I've never heard of anything that it's not going to be Wilder, nothing at all. But for whatever reason, it's not Wilder, whether he's not ready or he's injured or whatever it is. Not that I'm saying he is, because I don't know. But all I know is that I spoke to Shelley Finkel on the phone, and Shelley said, we're on, we're all good. So yeah, I just have to take them for the word, because they haven't let me down yet, so well, I've got no reason to disbelieve them.
Let's move on to the heavyweight division, Bob. So what is the situation with Fury Wilder 3? Why has this collapsed, Bob?
Well, the fight contractually had to take place sometime in July, and there was a provision for a postponement into October. And then Fury agreed that he would do the fight on December 19th. Why December 19th? Because our big, beautiful, new couple of $1 billion stadium that's been built in Las Vegas where our football team, the Las Vegas Raiders, play, would be available, and we could get permission to do it for 10 to 15,000 people in attendance. And then what happened was, the networks, Wilder's network, Fox, and our network, ESPN, that were going to distribute the pay-per-view, said, hey, you can't go December 19th because there are 5 college football championships, they're huge, on that day, and 2 NFL games, which are like the equivalent here of your Premier League games, on the same day. So, you know, how much television can people watch, and, you know, are they going to pay money to watch a fight when they have all these great football games? So we couldn't go December 19th. And then we realized we couldn't go any other time in December. And Fox and EA gave us 2 dates, possible date, one at the end of January and one at the end of February. And when I discussed it with Tyson, he said, look, I've been training hard. I have to fight by the end of the year. So we arranged for Frank Queensberry to put him in with a top 15 guy in the BC ratings. We'll do that fight December 5. And then if Joshua beats Pulev, then next year, sometime by the late spring, we can have them match against each other, which is the fight that everybody on both sides of the pond wants to see.
Well,
so unfortunately for Wilder, you know, Tyson is not under contract to fight him anymore. And so he's another victim of the pandemic.
There's a lot to pick up on there from there, Bob. Let's just go back to what you were saying about the college games and NFL. We also know that Fox have got Errol Spence and Danny Garcia on pay-per-view on the 5th of December. Was that a reason why you think Fox, they didn't want 2 boxing pay-per-views within the same month?
No, when Fox let us know that December 19th was out, then Al Heyman said, okay, then I'll put
Spence
Garcia on December 5, because then there were no more dates, you know, no more pay-per-views on that month. So it wasn't the other way, that Fox, you know, because Spence Garcia at that point was scheduled to go, I think, on November 21st, right?
Yeah.
So it was then shifted from November 21st, after the Fury Wilder fight fell out, to December 5, because they could get to put it in Cowboy Stadium in Texas.
Can we just confirm something for the fans, Bob, in that this contract where Wilder had the rematch clause, which he wanted to activate, that has expired? Is that correct, Bob?
Yeah, you said it wrong. Each fighter entered into a contract. Why was the rematch clause so time specific? It wasn't because we negotiated that it should be such a period of time. They felt they were going to win the fight, and therefore they didn't want to spread it out like for a year or whatever. They wanted a short period, right?
Yeah.
So again, that contract provides for a relatively short period where each fighter is obligated to do the rematch. Once that expired, there's no contractual provision that would require either fighter to do a rematch.
Okay, so as you said, therefore, if Fury comes, whoever he boxes on December 5th, and Joshua comes through against Kubrat Pulev, then all roads are clear for Fury Joshua next year.
Right, but if Pulev beats Joshua, which is what I'm hoping for, then Fury will fight either Pulev or Wilder next year.
Got you. Bob, I think the burning question now is on December 5th, as you said, Frank Warren will be putting on the show on BT for Tyson Fury here in the UK. Who is the opponent going to be? There's been a whole host of names. Oscar Rivas, Ajit Caballel, Michael Hunt has been thrown in there. What can you tell us, Bob?
Yeah, those are the names.
Just to move forwards, Bob, so obviously some big heavyweight news I have to ask you about, which has come out over his past week. I see he's smiling, so you know what I'm going to bring up now. Tyson Fury and other members of kind of the team around him have said that the third fight with Deontay Wilder will no longer be happening this year. Bob, can you just kind of clear up that entire situation for us and how the events unfolded to reach the point they have now?
Well, under the contract that we had with the Wilder people, the rematch had to be done by a date in October. Actually, it was July, and then could be postponed and was postponed into October. When that wasn't realistic, the parties agreed on December 19th. And then sports on a big level became active in the United States, and December 19th, there will be 5 college conference championships, which are tremendous in the United States, plus 2 professional NFL games. That's equivalent, in American football to your Premier League big games. And so it was crazy to put on a fight on pay-per-view in the United States against that lineup. And then when we looked around, there were no dates available in December. And so they gave us, both Fox and ESPN, a late January date and a late February date where we could do the fight. And when we presented that to Tyson Fury, he said, look, I've been training every day. I've got to do a fight this year. If Wilder's not available, which he isn't for the fight, then I'll do a fight in England. And I think Frank Warren picked December 5. And then I'll look forward next spring to a fight against Anthony Joshua, should Joshua beat Pulev.
Contractually, Bob, where does everything leave Deontay Wilder? So say if Tyson fights December 5th, he's successful, and then he looks towards next year, does he have the right to be able to go in with Tyson Fury, or does he have to face Deontay Wilder? Is there any kind of clause in place which means Wilder can fight Fury soon?
No, quite the contrary. If the fight isn't made by October 15th, which it wasn't, or December 19th, which the parties agreed to, Tyson Fury is free to fight anybody he wants. And next year can fight Joshua or Pulev, whomever he wants. He's not obligated contractually to fight Wilder.
Tyson coming back, and he's mentioned, and you've said yourself, he wants to get back out in the UK in December. A lot of kind of leading names have fights lined up, Bob. So who are you guys considering? Who's kind of are you looking at to get Tyson back in the ring with?
Well, it has to be a fighter rated in the top 15 of the WBC.
Now let's move forward. Let's stay in the heavyweight division. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. What was the last? Let me ask you this in segments. What was the last conversation you had with one Shelly Finkel and then two Al Heyman as it pertains to that fight?
Well, I haven't talked to either of them.
Oh wow!
I talked to Shelly the night of the fight, and I haven't talked to him since. And I talked to Al about a week before the fight, and I haven't talked to him since.
Okay. And so is the deadline done with that fight? And Tyson Fury is free?
That fight, the deadline was in October. We thought we could do it in December. We can't do it in December. Both Fox and ESPN said that you're up against a gazillion conference football championships and 2 NFL games that day.
Okay.
So you can't, the only way you can pay for it is pay-per-view.
Gotcha.
And there was and we were working with the Raiders and the state of Nevada to get permission to do it for about 10,000 fans in our new Allegiant Stadium. And when we couldn't go December 19th, then that date was good because the Raiders had a Thursday game on the 17th. And, we met with Mark Davis and Mark Bedane, great people. And they said, okay, we're playing that game on Thursday. So if you want to use the stadium on a Saturday, it's okay with us.
Gotcha.
So we would have been we had time, right after that game, and all day Friday to turn it around to put some seats on the field, a ring in. So that worked out. But then when we couldn't go on the 18th because ESPN and Fox said we couldn't do it, and then we asked them what dates they had, and they gave us a date in February. And I talked to Tyson. He said, no. He said, I'm not waiting that long. I'm going to fight in England on December 5. And then if I win that fight and Joshua wins his fight against Pulev, then I want in the spring to have a fight for all the belts.
Makes sense. Now, my question to you, Bob, because you said it's all about the Benjamins, right? It's all about the Benjamins, right?
Well, so yeah, exactly. Not for me, understand. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, somewhat for me, but a fight between Joshua and Fury, each fighter has an opportunity to make $50 or more million each fighter, because the site fee being offered is so large.
Okay. Now, the question I want to ask is, do you think, because I know Team Wilder I'm very close in terms of conversation and covering them, right? Do you think from a managerial perspective that the managers intentionally missed that deadline to maybe potentially protect Wilder or protect their brand?
I really have no idea.
Okay.
Because I tell you the truth, I've had no contact with either Shelly Finkel or LA. None. We worked on a technical.
That don't make sense.
A technical area with our people and one of the PBC people, Bruce Binko, and all it was figuring out how we would do the fight and that kind of thing. But I have no idea of what Wilder's condition is or anything. And the truth is, I really don't know Wilder that well. I met him on the promotion of the February fight, fleetingly, He's personally seems like a nice fellow. Who we very cordial, and I think very highly of him. But again, I don't really know him.
Okay.
Just lastly, Shelley Finkel keeps doing these interviews where he's saying this trilogy with Fury and Wilder is still on, and they have an option on Fury for this third fight. What's he talking about?
Absolutely not true. I don't know what he's talking about. Fury, not only our lawyers read the plain language of the contract, but Fury has Robert Davis as his lawyer in the UK. He's read the contract. The contract's expired. It's clear. Shelley can say what he wants. The thing that's crazy about it is the last time I talked to Shelley Finkel was the night of the fight after Wilder had been beaten. And I haven't talked to him since. So Shelley hides in the bushes. And then when something that he sees as being adverse to his fighter or himself happens, then he comes out and makes statements. I am absolutely sure, not knowing, but I think Shelley Finkel has never read the contract.
Hi, this is Tyson Fury, aka the Gypsy King, and just like to announce I'm definitely fighting December the 5th in London in the UK. Opponent to be announced very, very soon. Just working on some opponents. Let you all know who it's going to be shortly. Watch this space. Return of the Mac.
Now, what happens now? Tyson Fury has said he moving on, right? He said he moving on. He gonna fight somebody else in December. Okay. They claim, Bob Arum and Fury's team is claiming that the contract to fight you is expired and they can do whatever they want to do. What's the issue with that?
Man, we all had a contractual agreement, even with the first contract of being, I think, in October or something like that, but the pandemic hit and all that, so it was self-explanatory. They all came to us and said we need to pick another date and stuff, and everybody picked December 19th. Right. that was the last thing that I was told, December 19th. I've been, like I said, man, I've been doing my thing. I ain't really been keeping up with that. I got a lot of other stuff. December 19th was the date. Here we come. They talking about Fury saying he don't want to fight if there's no crowd. And all this and different things. And next thing I know, I'm fighting somewhere else. Nobody can get mad because I ain't talking. Don't worry about what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
I'm minding my business. I don't have to speak. This ain't up me. No one can make me come out and speak when it's not for me to do so. I'm not gonna break my character, bro. That's just not me. I'm a real man. I'm a real person. Like I don't break just because somebody want me to say something or whatever. I know people miss me. I miss them too. All my fans, I miss you guys as well. I love you. You know, I know you still here, and I appreciate all of you guys, each and every last one of you.
I mean, it's not Wilder. Did you think you were going to fight him for a long period, and you thought it might come to fruition?
Yeah, I was. The original date was July the 18th. Then that didn't happen because he had an injury. They got put back 3 months, October 18th. That didn't happen because they were trying to get a venue that suited everybody. And then they had 3 dates in December 5th, 12th and 19th, which I agreed to all them. And that obviously didn't happen. So, you know, I'm not going to wait around forever. I need to move on. I've got my own life. I can't live my life around somebody else's, you know.
Do you not feel, obviously the explanation is the contract term has expired. You guys were going to have to agree to something without a crowd in Las Vegas anyway. Presumably you would have fought him if they'd agreed those terms.
Man, you know, we all had a contractual agreement, you know. Even with the first contract of being, I think, in October or something like that, but the pandemic hit and all that, so it was self-explanatory. They all came to us and said we need to pick another date and stuff, and everybody picked December 19th. Right. that was the last thing that I was told, December 19th. I've been, like I said, man, I've been doing my thing. I ain't really been keeping up with that. I got a lot of other stuff. December 19th was the date. Here we come. And you talking about Fury saying he don't want to fight if there's no crowd. And all this and different things. And next thing I know, you know, oh well, you know, I'm fighting somewhere else. Nobody can get mad because I ain't talking. Don't worry about what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
I'm doing what I'm minding my business. I don't have to speak. This ain't up me. No one can make me come out and speak when it's not me to do so. I'm not gonna break my character, bro.
Yeah, I agreed to every date they set. Every date that was mentioned, I agreed to, but it's not worth me looking at it now. It's over. Deontay Wilder has I just tried to bring my character down with the bullshit he said. So if I was like the rest of the world, I'd probably sue him for defamation of character for about 100 million. But considering I'm not really interested in doing that type of thing. Yeah. So he'll never get a shot at me now, finished. He'll never, for what he said. Listen, losing's one thing. Everybody can lose to a better man on the line, but to come out with the amount of BS that he's come out with over the last 8 months, and he's conveniently waited until the contract's expired before he's even opened his mouth for the last 8 months. So yeah, he's ridiculous. And I don't even want to give him any airtime, so that's it for the bomber.
Tyson Fury just recently did an interview in the UK, and he said that because of the way you're dragging his name, he could take you to court. He said, but the better way for him to do it, he said the better way for him to do it is that he just won't give you an opportunity at the belt again. He just said this about an hour and 2 hours ago.
It ain't gonna matter. That just show you where he's running from. That ain't hurt me not giving me the opportunity, because guess what? We're gonna win it in court. We got proof. We're gonna win it in court. He'd rather go for it. He'd rather go to court. Just like he didn't want to fight me the third fight, nor did he want to do it the second fight. But he had help. That's why his dad. If you go back and look at the interview, first time I fought, when I knocked him out the first fight, his dad, my body's gonna get killed. He's gonna kill him. He didn't want him to fight me, but the game plan all along was to cheat me. Y'all heard Osbury, man. Y'all heard that, man.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't gonna sit up there and make videos in there coaching and see Patty come out and they putting egg weights in the gloves and the trainer telling him that they just trying to build Fury confidence up. shit, you might as well just go in there and hit folks in the head with a hammer then. If that's gonna build your confidence up. Like what you talking about? Building his confidence up, because we know he ain't got no punch about. This dude was practicing to cheat. All these allegations that coming out ain't nothing true. Come on, man. Y'all gotta be, for all the fans, for all my people that's fooling around and tagging on, y'all gotta be ashamed of yourself. Like, when is you gonna stop? When is you gonna stop? I don't even see how you ain't tired, because time you go out there and become a victim, your ass, you realize you just like me, bitch, you black. They don't realize they black until they get in the situation. Like, what you gonna gain taking side of someone from a whole other country? Well, because you feel, oh, he thinks he's, I don't think I'm nothing. You think that. You think that. I ain't did shit. You think that but told the truth. You feel me? I ain't did nothing but spread love. Not only amongst my family, but others as well, too. Instead of being a crab in a bucket, I'm the one that'll lift you up. I'm the one that'll put you on, bring you up, so you can be a king in your own castle. So you can raise queens and you can raise princes and princes up to be kings and queens in your own palace. That we can be able to have an opportunity to give our kids something, to get a head start in life. That's what I'm about, bro. I don't care about all that other stuff, you know. But the thing about it, though, I ain't got to sit here and preach to the haters. I keep doing. Y'all make me relevant no matter what you say, because I already know how it's going to end up.
Yeah.
But for my supporters, man, I love y'all motherfuckers to death, bro. I appreciate y'all so much. I hear y'all. I ain't going nowhere. No matter what you try, we know what happened. We know what happened. And I want you to stay on their neck for the rest of their life until they give us what we deserve and what we have. Because he's going to lose it all. I ain't worried about not giving me something. You already had that plan already in progress way back in September. I've been ready. I've been ready way back in September. Don't worry about me not talking or worry about what I'm doing. When we ever worry about what a man was doing? Why I ain't talking and saying, why do I gotta say something? They try to have hold me accountable for every little thing. You ain't talking. That means, well, I ain't heard. Well, we ain't seen his face. What is he doing? He swear he must not be worried about what y'all. Why y'all like? Get off my dick, please. Let it breathe. I already got enough of him already accusing. So please stop. I don't need extra.
That's a fact.
I don't have drama in my life. I keep it drama free.
Yeah.
Don't bring drama to my life. But my supporters, I love y'all so much, man. And we gonna be alright. Trust us. We ain't worried about him.
What is the situation with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder? Shelley Finkel's come out and says there's going to be a period of mediation and arbitration. What is going on with that contract?
Well, there is at the moment. It's before an arbitrating judging in the States, and he'll make a decision what how they feel it's going to be. But that's I don't think that's going to be for a good week, maybe even longer before he makes the decision. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens.
Tyson's boxing in London, December 5th.
What's happening regarding Tyson will be announced on Monday next week.
But this Deontay Wilder situation for next year, this trilogy is still potentially in play, because obviously a few weeks ago yourself and Bob Arum said it's essentially done, the contract's expired, time's up, but from what's going on now, there is still a chance this Wilder fight could happen.
Well, I don't know if there's any, from what I've seen, that contract's expired unless anything else was done, which I'm unaware of.
Let's move on to the heavyweight division. We learnt that Tyson Fury won't be boxing in London on December 5th anymore, and that it looks like he'll be returning in the States late February, early March. Why is this, Bob? What's happened?
Again, I don't know. I mean, obviously, he realized we were going to pay money from the United States for the telecast to be shown on ESPN on a Saturday afternoon, which is not ideal time because of all the football games. And I guess Frank, what was he going to do? He has no gate, right? And it's just pay-per-view. And with all the pay-per-views in the UK, I mean, Frank couldn't come up with a sizable guarantee because who knew, you can't, again, pay a fighter when you don't have the revenue coming in. So I think Tyson realized that he wasn't going to get the money that he was used to getting, and so he decided not to do the fight. So I've given everybody the word. Wait for the Pulev-Joshua fight. If Pulev wins, there's no Joshua because Eddie has a rematch with Pulev. Right? So that takes care of next year or a good part of next year for Joshua. So that leaves Wilder as the best guy. So if Pulev beats Joshua, Fury, we'll talk to Fury about doing the Wilder fight probably the end of February, right? And I think by the end of February, hopefully the pandemic will be under control and we'll at least be able to put the fight, because the football season is over, in Allegiant Stadium, this magnificent, huge stadium, and do it for 15,000 or 20,000 people in a 75,000 seat stadium, including the floor seats. So again, let's everybody hold off. It's all well and good for Fury to say, well, I want to fight Joshua, but who knows if Joshua is going to be around after he fights my guy Pulev.
Okay, so Frank Warren confirmed to me on Friday night at his show that a judge in the United States will make a decision about this Fury Wilder free contract. Is that happening right now?
That, again, that they have the right, the Wilder people, to go to arbitration. And I told everybody to hold off. Let's not run up legal fees or anything. We're confident in our interpretation of the contract, because if December 12th comes out the way I think, with Pulev winning, there's no Joshua fight. And then the Wilder trilogy is the best fight available. And why go through litigation? Let's just do the fight. That's my opinion.
Okay. What if Kubrat Pulev doesn't beat Anthony Joshua? Then what happens, Bob?
Well, then I'm sure the Wilder people, I'm sure Fury will then want to go right to a Joshua fight. And then there's a rematch with it, So that knocks Wilder out. And then the Wilder people will be in arbitration with Fury and ourselves, trying to interpret the contract to say that Fury is still obligated to fight Wilder. But I assure you that's not the case. Contract is clear. But do they have the right to bring this to arbitration? Yes, but the judge in arbitration is known to everybody in boxing, and he's an honest, upright guy, and we're very confident in the result. But it may not be necessary. That's my point. It may not be necessary because, again, if there's no Joshua, why wouldn't Fury want to do a third fight with Wilder?
Okay, well, it's a complicated situation. I'm sure it will resolve.
And it's very easy. Very easy, not complicated at all.
Well, in terms of this whole Fury-Wilder saga, it's just been going on for a long time.
Yeah, it's gone on over a long time because if you're Wilder's people, you got to put yourself in their shoes. Even though Top Rank and Fury and their lawyers say it's clear the contract is over, they're in desperation mode and they want to do the third fight. So they're going to take their best shot by going into court if that's necessary, or into arbitration. And again, what I say, it may not be necessary, because if Pulev beats Joshua, I'm sure we can have an out of arbitration settlement. At least I think so.
Yeah, Eddie, I just wanted to ask if you've spoken to Bob yet today.
No, I spoke to him last night. We had a good chat last night, and I think we're all in the same, the same mindset. We all want to make the fight. There's very little to discuss, but still some things to discuss. We think we should try and move forward with contracts as soon as possible. Let the governing bodies know that we have an agreement, and then we'll go to market and talk to the various people that have been approaching us about where the fight will take place. Don't really, I know that there's the Deontay Wilder situation. Some of you guys will know probably better than me where that's up to in terms of the arbitration for that rematch clause. I think, to be honest, that's the only thing that will stop this fight from happening next.
That's the only hurdle you see at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there are still hurdles, but I don't see any major hurdles at all. Unless both guys want to have an argument about who goes first on the poster or who ring walks second, or I don't see that being an issue.
Mentioned the Fury fight. There's two things with that. Firstly, after the fight, we saw in the post-fight interview, a lot of people again saying that maybe Anthony never called out Fury as much as what people would have anticipated. What are your thoughts on it?
Just don't think you're going to get AJ calling out anyone. I think he's bored of people using his name in the past to try and get fights. And I go back to the Wilder fight where I always told him, we'll get this fight. Wilder can't turn this down, especially with a final DAZN offer. And he was like, he won't fight me. I said, he will. And, he ended up being drawn into all these conversations, which was effectively designed to raise Deontay Wilder's profile. Now, thankfully, since we've found out since, they were lying, right? But in this situation, all I can tell you is there's only one fight that's being discussed within the team, and that's Tyson Fury. What you're not going to do is get AJ coming out, calling him a big dosser, making jumpers with his face on it or his old man's face or whatever. It's just not his style. He's never done it. So I think more talk, more action, less talk, more action that's what I said, and that's really what we're thinking. Get the fight made, and then you'll hear everything you need to hear from me. But I don't know. I think he's learned his lesson of talking about fights that may never materialise. In his head, he doesn't 100% believe this fight will happen next, to be honest. I'm telling him again, I think it will, and now I've got to deliver it.
How's the mediation between Wilder Fury 3?
It's there is no mediation. I mean, there has been over Christmas and New Year. There was mediation. I don't know. Maybe the mediator will be able to solve the situation, but we got a real problem because Tyson Fury has said to me and to the mediator that not today, not tomorrow, and not ever would he ever fight Wilder after what Wilder said to him. He regards it as a slur not only against him, but against the Gypsy Nation.
And when was this conversation? When was this conversation?
When was the conversation?
Yeah.
It was, he talked with Weinstein a couple of weeks ago and with me over the weekend.
Okay.
I mean, within a day or so. Yeah, I mean, a few days,
So is he willing to release the belt? the WBC belt?
Why would he have to release the belt?
I'm just because of I'm just saying if the mediation goes in favor of Wilder, in your opinion, do you think?
He has to decide whether he wants to defy any kind of order. I mean, you know, I don't want to get into legalities, but the idea of anybody stopping the Fury Joshua fight just can't happen. And the belts aren't. I mean, the WBC belt isn't an issue.
Okay, gotcha. So you're more leaning towards 100% that Fury Joshua takes place in May. You got a busy May.
Well, it could be in June, but yeah.
Oh, so you got y'all. Oh, hold up, Bob. Y'all got a date already. Then y'all got a date, a venue, because you just said no, it's in June. So you got a date and a venue already, and a location.
No, we have a location. That's true.
Do you mind
a location that I'm not going to go into?
Come on, Bob.
We have a we have a location.
What continent is it on?
We have a location, and we have to, as far as the date is concerned, we haven't zeroed in on the date, but it could be as late as June because it would give more time to solve the coronavirus problem.
Gotcha.
You know, by June, most people will be vaccinated. You can have quick tests now. So it's possible. I'm pretty sure. And then we'd do the fight, the pay-per-view in the UK, and pay-per-view early evening in the United States.
I think the fans are ready for that too. I mean, you kind of dropping a bombshell on me here that you're not optimistic that the fight's happening, because it seems like all the reports are very positive. It seems like this fight was gearing towards June. How come you're not optimistic about the fight?
I'm not optimistic. They've had a full year to try and make this fight happen. Since the last Wilder fight, they were talking, even before the Wilder fight, they were talking about the fight potentially between me and Joshua. They've had a full year to make something happen. It's not happened as of yet. So, it is what it is. It's nothing's happened. We're no further forward today than we was a year ago.
If the fight were to not happen, why? Why would it not?
Because it's the way COVID is at the moment. I don't think it's got much to do with the fighters. It's to do with a venue, a date, a place, site fees. It's to do with everything but the fighters themselves. So.
Well, it seems to me that the climate or the environment for that is improving, though, because obviously you have the vaccines, you have the COVID is trending in a better place, and you also have these different locations that you mentioned site fees that are willing to pay a lot of money to have an event, like a heavyweight championship fight. Yeah. So why do you? So I'm almost, it's surprising for me to hear you say that, because to me it seems like we are in a place going into this year and potentially this summer where you could have, a site fee really pony up for a big fight like that, and then have, if not a full capacity fans, to have some fans in the arena. You're seeing it differently, huh?
I'm just seeing it different. I'm a realist. I think if there was going to be an offer, there'd be one today, next week, or the week after. It doesn't, I'm not optimistic about it. One, I don't think Anthony Joshua wants to fight anyway, because he knows he's going to lose, and he likes the fact that he's a professional boxer, and after I get finished with him, he won't be anymore. So that's one of the reasons I'm not optimistic about it. And the other one is there's just the COVID at the moment. Even though you say we're in a better place, yes, we're in a better place than we was last year, but still not in a great place. The full country in the UK is locked down tight still. So it's not looking very optimistic from where I'm sitting. Now, and if there was so many offers on the table from abroad, foreign countries, then where are they? Why don't I know about them?
So what kind of outlook does that give you on 2021? I mean, is it you start to think about opponents where it's not Anthony Joshua, so maybe the deal is easier to come back together? Like, what is your strategy?
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying if the fight doesn't happen this summer, it's got to happen sooner or later. But Top Rank, I've got to give me 2 fights this year. So we'll see. I will fight 2 times on ESPN. I don't care who it is. Yeah. I've got 2 fights coming up this year, regardless to whoever it is, Joshua or not. If it's not Joshua, we're looking to fight middle of April, early May, and then again at the end of the year. And if it is Joshua, then June, and then the end of the year again, bang, bang, twice. So yeah, 2021's looking bright.
All right, before we leave, one more time, it's looking like June.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thanks to the management team, you know what I mean, 258, pulling the string. June should be the date. That's what we're going for.
Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua.
Trust me.
Someone will have all of
for the fans, for the people that have been calling it on for many, many months. You know, shout out to Fury and his team as well. Hungry go-getters, that's what we are. UK, stand up, and to the world, we're bringing it. I can't wait. Undisputed, that's for me.
Let's dive straight in. Bob Arum's been doing the rounds this week, as is usual for him. The older he gets, the more he seems to do, which is a good example for everyone, I suppose. But he says that Joshua Fury, I'm sure you'd put Tyson's name first, is all done by the signing of contracts. It's all agreed, he says. Is that your reflection on proceedings?
The terms are all agreed, and we're all just waiting to sign off on it. All the terms are agreed as far as need be, but obviously we've got to sort out the site fee. Other than that, I can't really sort of elaborate more than that on that.
Bob says the venue could still possibly be in the UK. Obviously, Boris's announcement means fans can come back in from the middle of May. Would you say that the UK is still a kind of underdog in terms of being the venue for the first fight?
I don't know at the moment. You know, all options are open. I mean, when I say all options are open, it go where it can generate the most income. I mean, that's the really blunt and brutal answer to that. But that's what will happen.
And what I should ask, because you can't elaborate on what's happening presently, but coming to this stage, all terms have been agreed, as you said. What was the biggest stumbling block to get to this point?
What was the stumbling? I think the biggest stumbling block was getting everybody to park their egos up and get on with it, and trying to keep everybody to keep quiet until it's signed. Because the more stuff goes out there, the more it sometimes makes it a little difficult. But you know, that's everybody's been pretty good, and you know, and as I say, once it's signed and we can hopefully make an official announcement, that'd be great. And be even better once we find a home for it, which is the main thing.
And Tyson himself made some comments quite recently saying, you know, we're no further on than we were before when he spoke to ESPN, which I think there was a bit of kidology there, trying to push Joshua into signing a bit quicker. But do you think those comments had an impact? Do you think that's helped it come a bit quicker?
No, not really. He's got it off his chest. I mean, we've been talking for a long time now, and it's been to and fro with the agreement, going backwards and forwards. Everybody having their input and their views on various conditions and terms in the contracts, and we've got it to a stage now where it seems everybody's happy and comfortable with it. The main thing is to get the venue. You know, COVID is obviously a big restriction at this moment in time, but it's where it takes place, and that then turns it into a reality. Fine, we signed off on it, but now we need a home for it.
I know you said there's nothing to report, but we've done interviews with Bob Arum. He says that it's close. Eddie Hearn says they're ready to sign. Joshua's had his little bit on Twitter and stuff like that, saying that he's in it for the long run, you're a showman, he's going to close the show and stuff like that. So if we can take what Bob Arum and obviously Eddie Hearn and what Joshua's saying, we're getting our hopes up, if you know what I mean. But on your side, Tyson Fury's side, you said there's nothing to report.
Well, let's break it down, shall we? Okay. To bare minimum. Eddie Hearn's a boxing promoter, so is Bob Arum. It's our job to sell the fight. Joshua is saying what he's saying. I don't know what he's saying. I'm not on social media at the moment at all. So whatever they say is very unimportant to me. Until I've got a date, a fight, and a hell of a load of money in my pocket, there's no fight. There's a lot of things going on, what people don't know behind the scenes, that can scupper a fight like that. So nothing's actually on until you're actually in the ring. So yeah, we're nowhere near that at the moment.
Can you understand why, like, us as fans, like, we're desperate for this fight, because it's like two British heavyweight champions, undisputed fight. Do you know what I mean? For selfishly, as boxing fans like me and everybody in here, we're looking at you and going, Tyson, please give us some good news and stuff like that. Selfishly, I mean, like, but we want the fight. I'm guessing that you definitely want the fight. You've called for Joshua for long enough. So what can you do on your part, if anything?
Can't do nothing.
No.
It's out of my hands. It's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with me at all. I'm just a boxer. There's a lot of things behind the scenes going on, like I say, that can alter a fight. Do I think I'm going to be fighting Joshua in the next 10 minutes? Hell no. Do I think the fight will eventually happen sooner or later? Yes. It has to happen. But do I think it's imminent right next minute? No, I don't.
This is potentially massive breaking news from the world of boxing, the biggest breaking news from the world of boxing there could possibly be, because Eddie Hearn has told our boxing editor Richard Damrell that, and I quote, "All parties have now put pen to paper and we will be working hard over the next few weeks to confirm the site and date for the biggest fight in boxing." That means Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. Contracts have been signed, and according to promoter Eddie Hearn, it is going ahead. He just hasn't as yet found the date or the venue. It's a unification fight. Everybody in the world of boxing, everyone in the world of sport wants to see this, and it is as close as it has ever been. We are trying to make contact with Eddie now to get him on the phone. We will have much more on this, but this is huge from Eddie Hearn about Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury.
And although we're very excited about the shows at the weekend, and that's our focus at the moment, it would be remiss of me not to ask you about the ongoing AJ Fury or Fury AJ saga, I guess. Hopefully it won't be a saga for too much longer. Last time I spoke to you, it had been signed and sealed. As yet not delivered. What's the latest on that in terms of dates and venues?
Well, listen, you sound like Stevie Wonder there, but I think at the end of the day, I think hopefully, and I hope that we'll get it over the line for the venue. We're all working on it. Look, up until today, it's what I was saying last week. I've done an interview on IFL last week, and somebody in the office said, "Oh, you're getting a lot of stick over not saying being evasive." I said, "I'm not being evasive. No one knows what is happening with travel. Up until yesterday, I think it was May 12th, people could travel. So say, for example, we were going to do that fight in a foreign territory. On May the 12th, the Brits would have been out to travel to go and watch it if it was in this foreign territory. Now they're saying it's £5,000 fine for travelling or a holiday. So no one can give these answers at the moment. All we're doing is working very hard to find a site and a venue that can host it and come up, obviously, with the site fee. And we've got quite a few people interested, but they've also got problems in their own countries. So we're working with them to help get this thing over the line. And that's where we are. And, it is signed, but now we're in the same position as everybody in trying to find a venue that is and that can be, and the fight can be financed from the sales of tickets, etc., from that foreign venue, to make it worthwhile to the boxers to get in the ring against each other. Maybe the alternative is to get it on in the UK, but even then, we don't know how many people we're going to be allowed into stadiums. So it's a real we're all in no man's land. So we're working hard to get it over the line, but I'm sure something will happen. I'm not being negative. I'm just saying what the problems are that we have to overcome. And I'm not a negative person. I'm a very positive person. That's why I've been doing this for all the years I've been doing it. If I was a pessimist, I'd have got out of this business years ago.
Tell us about AJ Fury then. I know the deal's been signed, but where are we up to with regards to finding a site and finalising a date?
So all last week, a lot of calls, fresh approaches as well, and next week I'm off on my travels around the world to try and get this signed. It's the period now where we have to take these proposals that we've had from various sites and see what's real, see what's not, and make sure that it's the right opportunity for the fighters. There has been some conversations about, as we see the Euros potentially going into Wembley in June, July, can we be a part of that at the back end of it? Could we get 100,000 at Wembley? And we would need to even have that conversation. So there's a few conversations going on behind the scene with regards to that, but certainly financially all the big offers have come in from the Middle East, the Far East and other countries. So next week's all about going to have those meetings, and the next 3 weeks really is the time frame where we want to make sure it's signed and announced.
Saudi Arabia ahead of the queue at the moment?
Yeah, we have a great experience there back in December 2019 with Anthony Joshua against Andy Ruiz. So they're players that we know are for real, and that sort of cuts out a lot of the time frame in terms of going to all these various meetings. We've been through the process with them. They gave us their word on what they would deliver, and they did that. It was a fantastic event. So, when we did Anthony Joshua against Andy Ruiz too, that was really with the mindset with them of doing the undisputed fight. So they're absolutely keen to secure this fight, and obviously there's two versions of it. So June, July in the Middle East is very warm. Most people would prefer it to be a little bit later, but that's not what's on the table. We want 2 fights this year, and the first one will be in the summer.
And what about the fighters themselves? Are they on the same page, or do we potentially see a bit of conflict over where they want the fight to be held?
No, look, I'd love to tell you that, it's all about doing the fight in the UK for the fighters, and if they had their choice, they would much prefer to do this fight in the UK, and we will look at that option. But of course, the offers that are coming in financially far outweigh that, so we have to provide the proposals and the best options to the fighters, and if that can include a UK fight, then that would be fantastic for them and for all of us as well. But you're talking about the biggest fight in boxing. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them, the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, and we've got to make sure we do our job, work with top rankers we're doing. Had a call with Bob Arum on Monday. He's looking at some options, we're looking at options. We present them to the fighters, and then we collectively make the best decisions for them, the fans, the fight, the broadcasters, and the most important thing is to see them two in the ring. At the moment, I'd do it on this boat. If we had to, I just want to see that fight, and if we can do it in front of fans, and if we can do it in the right place as well, then tremendous.
And just finally on that,
how's the negotiations with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua going?
They're over. They're finished. They're done.
So
the fighters have signed, and now we're waiting for the firm up a site and a date. Now, obviously, it's not as easy as it normally would be because of the pandemic. A country that was wanted to stage the fight and put up a big site fee may look and say that they have had so many COVID cases last week or last month that they don't know when they're going to be opening up. So it's very, very delicate, having nothing to do with the fight. Really a logistic challenge.
So what's happening with the litigation with with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder?
That is an arbitration, and the arbitrator will decide.
So everything is still contingent upon the arbitrator?
No,
really and truly, nobody anticipates that there'll be an injunction. At worst, there might be a claim for damages.
And when do you anticipate the finality of that?
I think there's a schedule that probably would get a determination sometime in May.
Sometime in May. So what are the options for Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury? Because obviously, we just heard Eddie Hearns.
I can't go into that. I can't go into that. Eddie Hearns, has a loose tongue, and he speaks, and whatever. But under our contract between Joshua and Fury and the various promoters, we're embargoed from talking about who we're talking to, where the fight may be held, until we arrive at a determination and there can be a joint announcement. No, I know what Eddie's been violating that, but I'm not going.
So, AJ Fury not happening then?
No, apparently not. No. We just mucked about the whole time. I saw. Is not Peter Fury? Is John Fury? Is he sponsored by Boxing Social? Because It gives them a lot more time than he gives you.
No, John Fury always gives IFL time, 100%.
Okay. I saw his interview. I mean, it's baffling, really. We're out here absolutely grafting our nuts off, trying to deliver the biggest fight, and he's basically telling people that there are no offers and that there's absolutely no chance. Who's going to put the money up in a pandemic? We're well aware we're in a global pandemic. We're well aware it's very difficult to do major deals at the moment. Luckily, I'm on it, right? And I'm grafting away to get this done, and I will get this done. So a little bit of positivity, a little bit of glass half full mentality, and a little bit of support to make the biggest fight in boxing. Because all I hear at the moment, Tyson Fury, 3 days left, time's running out. What, do you not want to fight? You want to support this fight? You want to work with us to make this fight? Or are you looking for excuses not to take this fight? Because that's all I hear. Oh, they won't come up with the money. Why not? Go and come up with the money. Let's get this done. I want it. I'm fighting him. So, all I know is, from our side, 100% focused on making the fight. AJ has given us our full support to get this done. He trusts in us to deliver. And this weekend, both parties will get numerous options and offers to do the fight in various locations. We will converse with both parties, all the teams, and say which one do we want to accept. Then it's over to them. Now, what I can't do is tell you who's going to want to take what fight, where, and which deal they're going to take. But what I do know is there will be plenty of options for them to choose from. And I'm very confident that this fight happens.
Say plenty of options. How many options there?
4, I would say, they're going to get presented with.
Obviously one's including Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, correct.
Do you want to tell me the other 3? Why is that a big secret anyway, where the offers are coming from?
There's conversations going on at the moment. So, I don't really want to be telling you strictly confidential business information that, quite frankly, you have absolutely no right to know.
Rattled for the first time in this whole...
Rattled. I mean, my heart rate is just absolutely racing at the moment. I'm fuming.
Okay, but are you less or more likely confident that...
What percentage?
Not percentage,
I'm
but...
telling you, this is what I do, right? You walk around with a square mic trying to interview people. I make deals. I make things happen, right? So you either trust me to do that or you don't. Is there anyone better at doing it? No. So you're in the best hands possible. If this can be pulled off, there is only one geezer to do it, and that's me, right? So let me do my work. No one else is doing work. Just me, right? Is Frank Warren going out there trying to land a site deal? No. Is Bob Arum out there trying to line us out? No. So it's me. And it's all on me. I'm either going to deliver it and be the saviour, or you're all going to moan at me. Give me my time, give me your support, and let me do my thing.
So, talk to me about the importance of this weekend running out and a site deal not being decided.
That's the time that we all agreed on within the contract. I mean, if it comes to whatever it is Sunday and Tyson Fury goes, right, I know you're close, but that time's up, I'm not doing the fight, I'm doing another fight, there's nothing I can do. But the aim is to make sure they are in place by this weekend. But, you know, there's been multiple conversations with Tyson Fury's team every day now to keep them in the loop. Things are moving at a good pace. We're all confident we're going to get this done. That's why I was a bit disappointed with John's interview. You know. So, I'm doing the work. I'm putting it in every day, flying all over the world. And I'm not even doing it for Fury because my priorities, my loyalty is with one man here. And I want to deliver this fight for him more than anything. That's why you shouldn't doubt me. Because I have no intention of letting Anthony Joshua down. Now, I know it's difficult, it's a fucking horrendous time, don't matter. So, and Tyson Fury will benefit off that ambition and that drive. Because I'm on it, and I can't be any more on it. And I can't, you know, I can't try any harder than I'm trying. And if you can always look yourself in the mirror and say that, especially when you're looking this good, it's the right touch.
Just had some big news, 3 or 4 big offers on the table. Interest from Saudi Arabia, my Gypsy brothers in Qatar, Uzbekistan, Russia, America, England. There's some big offers on the table. I'm going to go through them on Sunday, and hopefully we'll get this big fight on and let me smash this big dosser, big useless dosser, let me say, because when I get him, I'm going to give him that, yeah, big dosser.
Speaking of Tyson Fury, did he get what he needed to get by Tuesday?
Yep. I don't want to talk too much about it because I think people are bored of me talking. All I'll tell you, which I haven't said to anyone yet, is that both sides have approved the site offer that they want to go with. And now we're just finalising the site deal, and we're in a great place. I saw Tyson yesterday.
How was that?
Yeah, it was good. I just messaged him and said, I'm in Vegas. I knew where he was staying. I said, I'm in your hotel if you fancy a cuppa. And we just had 5 or 10 minutes together, and it was good because I don't represent Tyson Fury, so I don't know what's in his mind. And what he basically cemented in my mind was, this is the only fight he wants. Do you know what I mean? And I know that's the same with AJ. So it was just good to say, right, we've got the offer. We all approve. We're moving forward now. We're good. I'm not going to go into where it's going to be held, but it has been agreed by both sides that the option we will take, and you'll get the date very soon and the official announcement.
Is it safe to say that it's definitely going to be this summer?
Yes, 100%, yeah. And that's the thing, like, you know, everybody wants this fight as soon as possible. There is no option for this fight to go at the back end of the year, and I've made that clear. And, you know, that's been probably the hardest thing about securing the site deal, is that in this world we live in today, most people would like to kick it to November, December. That's not available. It was never available. What was available was a summer fight for the undisputed heavyweight world championship. That is what you're going to get, and both guys want 2 fights this year. You know, one will be in the summer and one will be in December. That's the plan. And like I said, it was just good to hear it from the horse's mouth yesterday to say, no, like, we're all in. This is the fight for us. And we kind of like, it's almost like animosity aside, that will start once the press conference start. We have to work together to get this over the line. And, you know, all of his side, everyone's being proactive, and they have been. And like I said, you know, you've seen a bit from the fighters, a bit from AJ. and everyone's happy with the situation. We just need the official announcement now, and that will be very soon. I don't. Again, that's why I don't want to talk too much, because I keep saying it'll be very soon, and then people tweet me and go, "Mate, but you have to understand it is quite a difficult process, particularly in this world." And I'll probably make the mistake of probably being a little bit too positive, you know. And the question is, what percentage chance does this guy? It's like, I don't know, 90. How long? I don't know, 2 weeks? And everyone's like, well, 2 weeks are up. You said 2 weeks. So all I can say is like I said, we've both sides are happy with the offer that's on the table now and ready to move forward.
One of the things that I really sort of clocked during the interview with Tyson was there's still some sort of legal stuff going on. It doesn't seem as though that has sort of disappeared. Is that the only thing that's possibly holding back this fight? Because I
don't think that can hold the fight back. It's definitely ongoing, and again, that's like their business, their side. So I don't know too much about it, but I do know that probably from Deontay Wilder's side, like, I don't think Deontay Wilder actually. Oh look, Liam Williams and Demetrius Andre. Right, mate. That's Demetrius Andre and Liam Williams. Okay. Yeah, so that's their business. Like, I don't think Deontay Wilder even wants to fight Tyson Fury, to be honest with you. Like, I think that... Oh, it's still going. I think that... I just think he wants to cause trouble, and I think he's probably looking for some money. Like, and it's a shame, because it's the fight boxing wants and needs. It's not going to get derailed by this, in my opinion, but it is probably quite annoying for them, because they are having to, you can't just ignore something like that. You have to go through the right channels and defend yourself and make sure it's dealt with, and that's what Bob Arum's doing. And, you know, like I said, like, from our point of view, I don't see that being an issue in the fight.
I just want to have your thoughts on the statement from Bob Arum about AJ Fury. He's saying he's pessimistic about it happening. You've sort of said similar things all along, really. What do you make of those comments and where that fight is at now?
Well, I think a lot of it's frustration, because everybody's been told that we're being told by, it was agreed between all the parties that Eddie Hearn would be speaking to the particular territory we're interested in putting the fight on. Not all of us, you know. That was it. So he's been doing that, and he's been telling not just us, the press and everybody, that there'll be a contract within the following day. And as I've been saying every time I'm asked, well, we've not received it yet, and we'd received something last week, which weren't in the form what we, all of us, our side of the table, were too happy with, and I think Bob's vented his frustration. I'm sort of frustrated. I know Tyson's obviously very frustrated, but I got a call from the territory where we hope this fight's going to take place. I got a call from yesterday, and they were very, very upbeat and said to me that we should be receiving something. And you know, so I'm looking forward that we do get something that reflects what we're being told is the deal.
Because there was talk that Bob Arum has mentioned Wilder, you know, Fury and Wilder 3. Is that likely to be what happens instead?
Tyson, if he doesn't fight AJ, he's going to have a fight, and Wilder's one of the guys there that it could be there. You know, there's no secret. There's an arbitration going on as we speak, and it could be him. I don't think Tyson's got any problems, you know, fighting him. He's not the one who pulled out the fight. It was Deontay who wasn't available all of last year. Was it July onwards? That wasn't Tyson's fault. So, the end of the day, this will all resolve in. I genuinely believe in the next 72 hours, we will either have a fight or we'll be moving on. That's my opinion.
go with 3. Go with 2.
The champ is here.
Champ is here. Got it done then, Mosh.
Sorry. Big announcement, Eddie, or not?
Not yet.
Thank you.
Hey there, it's Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King. Got some massive news for you all, guys. I've just got off the phone from Prince Khalid of Saudi Arabia. He told me this fight's a 100% on. August 14th, 2021, summertime. All eyes of the world will be on the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I cannot wait, repeat, cannot wait to smash Anthony Joshua on the biggest stage of all times. This is going to be the biggest sporting event ever to grace the planet Earth. Do not miss it. All eyes on us. Peace out. God bless. See you all in Saudi! Yes! Get it.
A few moments later.
Firstly, your reaction to the news that broke last night.
Well, I just got home, nice bit of dinner, put the kids to bed, just settled down nice, you know, just chilled Monday night, and then the phone started blowing up. Have you heard this? Have you heard this? And sometimes you hear speculation. Then Bob Arum calls me, then, you know, all hell breaks loose, and, you know, wanted obviously to speak to them, see the situation, and see firstly what could be done, what was real, what wasn't real, where we stand. And yeah, it was a shock to the system. You know, this negotiation's been going on for 3 or 4 months now. And you know, we were always assured that this wouldn't be a problem. It was a very strange decision from the arbitrator, to say the least. But that's their business, that's their responsibility. And we can have to see now where they go with it.
What conversations have taken place with Team Fury since the news broke?
Just really with Bob Arum last night. You know, I think he was in complete and utter shock. I mean, I've never really heard him speechless, but he's been very bullish throughout this whole process that, you know, I know it's their business and we don't know too much about the contracts in the case, but this wouldn't be a problem. This wouldn't stand in the way of an Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury fight. And that's quite frustrating because, like I said, we've been working tirelessly to get this over the line. So he was, you know, almost shell-shocked, I think. And then once he'd calmed down and done what he had to do, I think the move then was to speak to the other side and see if there's a resolution. Again, we can't control that, we can't be involved with that process, but as far as I understand it, Tyson Fury wants to fight Anthony Joshua. We have a deal to do so, August the 14th in Saudi Arabia. Spoke to our partners in Saudi Arabia, they weren't best pleased either. And I think the conversations are ongoing, but you know, from our point of view, we have to just get our side in order, make sure we have our own plans, and hopefully they can resolve the issue and we can move forward with the August 14th fight, but over to them.
So with all that being said, how optimistic are you that AJ Fury still goes ahead on August 14th?
I mean, I hope it does, because like I said, you know, we've grafted away for 4 or 5 months to make this happen. We've got a fantastic deal in place for both fighters, for a legacy fight, for a huge amount of money. The undisputed world championship is what both guys wanted. So I hope, you know, but hopeful. You know, I don't know. As I said, everything that we were told from the get-go is this arbitration issue wouldn't be a problem. Obviously, it is a problem now, and we have to think on our feet. we have to act accordingly. But we still hope the fight can go ahead. But really, that's completely out of our hands.
How did AJ take the news?
It was okay. I mean, I guess he's been up and down during this process like we all have. And you know, the positivity from Team Fury this week and the acceptance by everybody that we have a deal was great for everyone. Everyone had started pretty much full training camp. AJ's been there a little bit, he's seen it, he's had disappointment. I mean, you look back to the Jarrell Miller fight, you know, with that falling through 3 weeks before, with the Pulev fight, the first one falling through probably 10 days before. And he just said to me, listen, just go and do your work. He said, you're the man to take care of it, over to you. I'll be in the gym, let me know. And that was nice, you know, it's nice to give that kind of responsibility. It got to about, I don't know, 11:30 last night, and I just thought, do you know what, the phone's going off. I had a very nice sleep. I spoke to AJ this morning, and we go to work. Again, it's just another day of ups and downs. This is called the boxing business. Like I said, it can give you the highest highs, it can kick you right in the nuts on other occasions. But we're here, we're breathing. He's still the champion. We know what we want to do. We want to win the Undisputed Championship. We want to fight Tyson Fury. But really, if his hands are tied, we have to look elsewhere.
You've said all the way through this process that you haven't been focusing on a plan B. Does that change now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I have been focusing on plan A. The only fight that we had our mind on was Tyson Fury. And we hope that that fight can still take place on August 14th. The game changed last night where we have to have a plan B in place and probably a plan C as well. And we have a couple of different options. Of course, the one that springs to mind immediately is the WBO mandatory of Alexander Usyk. You know, they've been quite patient, and I think really we're in a situation now where if Team Fury don't get themselves together, get their act together by the end of this week, we will have no option but to look for an alternative fight. AJ wants to fight this summer. Alexander Usyk is the mandatory. We have 2 or 3 other options as well, but it would be in an ideal world if the right deal could be done to maintain those belts.
We finished an interview a couple of days ago, and I think within 20 seconds of that interview finished, you received a phone call with regards to a heavyweight title fight. It certainly shook up the world. Just firstly, your reaction to these past few days and coming to terms with Deontay Wilder winning that arbitration case.
Well, listen, you know, I'm going to use an analogy that the Brits might not understand. You know, if you're playing baseball and you have a
honest, competent umpire, and he's calling balls and strikes, and the pitcher throws a ball and the umpire calls it a strike, he's wrong, but he's honest and he's competent, but he made a mistake. So I believe this is that kind of situation. I believe that the law and the facts were on our side, and that Fury could go ahead and fight Joshua. The judge, the arbiter, saw it differently. That doesn't mean he's dishonest or incompetent. He just saw it differently. So it is what it is. So now when you get knocked down like we did, you pick yourself up, and Tyson will do that, and will fight Wilder on July 24th in Las Vegas.
Will that fight 100% be next, Bob, or is there any chance that Deontay may step aside?
No, there's no chance that he would step aside. He doesn't want to step aside except for a number that makes it totally preposterous that the fight can continue. So whatever it is, the judge said that he had a right to the rematch, and we're going to go ahead with it, and it will be July 24th here in Las Vegas.
What's Tyson's reaction been to the news?
Well, Tyson wasn't very happy, but, you know, he's a man. He's a fighter, and it is what it is, and he's going to take out his frustration and anger on Wilder, and he tells me he's going to knock Wilder out quicker this time than he did last time.
Eddie Hearn said that he was previously told that the arbitration case wouldn't cause any problems for yourself. Now, how much of a surprise was it to have that case go in favour of Deontay?
Totally unexpected, totally out of the blue. I think it was a wrong decision, but it is what it is. And we're men that live in a society which have laws govern us, and part of those laws are when a judge or an arbiter makes a decision, even though we think he's wrong and we don't like it, we follow it. I mean, it's as simple as that. Does it make me happy? No, but I'm not going to blame anyone for the result.
As a man, Wilder, contract signed, you're getting smashed.
And helping him along the way, of course, John Fury. Last week, John Fury had a few words to say about Tyson's match. So Tyson and Wilder looks like that's good to go on July 24th in Vegas. But John mentioned that he's not particularly happy with the way that the arbitration proceedings happened and the way the negotiations with Joshua broke down. Have you spoke to John about that since?
No, I haven't. I'm going to see him after this, but that's not my fault. You know, that it is what it is. The fact of the matter is why I never ever made an announcement about the fight. I said, till this thing's signed, I know what's going on behind the scenes. Well, I knew there's an arbitration, and I knew the lawyers are saying, oh, well, you're going to win this. But you know what? Until you win it, you haven't got nothing. Until that contract's signed, a fight at that level, you got nothing. You know, they had to sort out the position, and the deal wasn't done between BT and Sky how it was going to be done. There was outstanding issues. It's only that Motormouth was going on for every other week saying, or every other day, saying, big announcement, sign the contract. Well, it couldn't be signed because there was an arbitration. It had to be the decision of the arbitration. And, you know, John said about vacating the title, so I understand. Well, he can't vacate the title, or he can, but he's still going to have to fight Wilder or retire. And if he doesn't fight Wilder, then Wilder will camp and Wilder will sue him for many, many millions of dollars. And if anyone tried to promote him in between, they would be sued and probably get an injunction to stop it from happening. So he has that contract that was signed had an arbitration clause in it. That's what the decision was of all the signatories to that contract. And
one of the people, Tyson signed it as well. So, they all signed up on it, and now the arbitrator's made a decision. That's what it is.
When did you get the sense the arbitration wasn't going to go the way we wanted it to, or is it just a complete shut of the blue?
I mean, I don't know, mate. I didn't get any sense of it. I've got to be honest. I felt that the arbitrator would allow the unification to go ahead, and he would give Wilder some financial compensation. That's what I felt would happen, but he just dismissed everything. He said that's what it is. Maybe he got pissed off, keep hearing about this fight song between Tyson and Joshua, and saying, hang a minute, I'm the one who's going to make the decision on that, no one else. You never know. I mean, it's. I mean, the fella doesn't. I'm sure the other side were constantly sending any videos that said any different, and if I was getting all them, yeah, we'll see about that. Who knows? You never know.
You mentioned obviously Deontay Wilder. We're still yet to really hear anything official or on the record from him. What do you make of the seemingly the situation that we're in and the reports coming out about that third fight?
I don't know what's going on. I mean, I've said, I can't remember the amount of interviews I've said, where is, you'd think you'd just put a post out, wouldn't you, going, guys, I've been laying low, I'm focused, I want my belts back. I don't know. But it's so weird, and contractually, what sort of job have these people done for Deontay Wilder? What? It's just evaporated. The rematch clause. You've just come off a global pandemic, right? It's a thing called a force majeure. So you're basically being told that bye, see you later. Where are these people coming out and enforcing their rights? They obviously don't have no rights. So it's a disaster all round. And now Deontay Wilder, what's he get? Something's very strange, and you basically, like I say, you've got Bob and those guys coming out saying, see you, mate. And Shelley comes out and goes, no, we do want the fight. Well, protect your rights if you've got any. But does he even want? I mean, yeah, weird, really weird. But mate, listen, maybe Wilder just he ain't got it in him. Maybe he's got his, 20 million or 30 million and goes, do you know what, I don't need this in my life anymore. And if that's the case, good luck to him. But how can you not want to avenge your defeat? You imagine AJ or us off the back of the Ruiz situation, getting in a position where he just went missing and you didn't hear from him. And then I just came out one day and went, and Ruiz's team went, sorry, it's expired. And I go, oh God, well, we did want the fight, but... And then Ruiz just goes off and defends the belt he won off you. Fuck that. When AJ lost, I've never seen a man more focused to get his belts back and to beat this guy. So that's sometimes the difference of what's in some people and not in other people. But I just, weird all round. Weird from Wilder, weird from the team and Shelley think, how do you let this get in this position? It's poor management. And this guy's credibility will never be the same because he didn't take the rematch with Tyson Fury.